video I'm going to show you how to make gingerbread men. From this recipe you ought to be able to make 30 gingerbread men depending on the size of your cutter. To get started, preheat your oven to 190 degrees on a fan assisted setting and set a saucepan aside on your stove. Then measure out 175 grams of brown sugar, 100 grams of unsalted butter and 4 tablespoons of golden syrup. Add all 3 ingredients to the saucepan you've already got on the stove and melt on a low heat. Whilst the mixture is melting, measure out 340 grams of plain flour, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger and 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Sift it into a mixing bowl. You'll need a large mixing bowl because this is quite a big mixture. Flour. And just lightly tap the sieve onto the edge of your palm. Now you've finished this, go back and stir the mixture in the saucepan. You don't want it to burn, there is a lot of sugar in there, so you do need to stir it a little bit. And once the sugar is dissolved and the butter is melted, then turn the stove off. Whilst you're waiting for the mixture to melt, beat 1 egg in a separate bowl. And I like to use a fork to whisk it. It makes it a lot easier. You don't need to get a whisk or anything. A fork does the same job. There you go. The mixture is finished melting and it's time to add it to the dry ingredients. So grab your pan and you want to make a well in the flour and sit the melted sugar and the butter and the golden syrup in the middle of it. To this, add the egg and just stir. Oh, it smells so good. It immediately smells like gingerbread. Give this a mix until it forms a ball. So it's just going to take some mixing and it will come together, don't worry. There you go. It's in a ball. It's come away from the sides. It's a little sticky. You wouldn't want to touch it at this point because it will stick to your hands. Stick your gingerbread in the fridge for about half an hour until it completely cools down. That way it will make it a lot easier to roll it out. It's been half an hour and it's time to take the gingerbread mixture out of the fridge. It's firmed up and it's ready to roll out. What you'll want is a non-stick surface like this and empty this out onto the non-stick surface. Get a rolling pin and lightly dust it with some flour. You don't want to add too much flour because it will dry out the gingerbread. And simply roll it out. So twist this around. I find these non-stick mats really helpful because you can actually twist the mat around as opposed to the actual mixture. Roll the mixture out until it's about ½ centimetre in thickness and then you'll use a gingerbread cookie cutter or any cookie cutter that you have and just cut out your shapes. So once you've finished rolling it out, take your cookie cutter and start making your gingerbread men. Now take a palette knife to transfer the gingerbread men from the mixture, the rolled out mixture, sorry, onto a baking sheet that I've already lined with some parchment paper. Using a palette knife will make it a lot easier to get it off of the non-stick surface and just place it on the tray. You'll manage to fit about 8 of the gingerbread men on each of the trays. Place it in the oven for between 10 to 15 minutes until they're golden brown. So the gingerbread men are now all cooked, and like I said, this recipe makes about 30 gingerbread men. All of the gingerbread men are all now cooked, and as I said, this recipe makes about 30 gingerbread men depending on the thickness at which you've rolled them. So this is what you're looking for, something like this. And the next step is to decorate them. I like to dip the feet in chocolate and use some icing sugar just to stick some Smarties on them, either as eyes or some little buttons. So I've melted 140 grams of milk chocolate. You can use dark chocolate, white chocolate, whatever you prefer. And this is the icing sugar. It's 3 teaspoons of icing sugar with half a teaspoon of water, and it becomes this paste, like this. And then I'm just going to use some Smarties as buttons. If you're living in Turkey, they're not called Smarties, they're called bonibon. You can find them in any supermarket. So I'll start off by dipping the gingerbread man's feet in the chocolate. And this is great for kids. They love the chocolate. I'm an adult, but I also like it too. So then just place the gingerbread man on a baking sheet or a tray lined with tin foil. And next, use the icing as sort of glue for the Smarties. Just put a little bit on the gingerbread man and stick the Smarties on them. And repeat until you've done them all. There you have it, your gingerbread men are all done. They're cooked and they're decorated. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and for more videos subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time. Bye!